During this STAR microlearning video, you will learn about scaled scores, learning progressions, and focus skills as they pertain to the STAR computer adaptive tests.
Depending on which lens you are using, whether it's to determine a student's reading level or how they're performing compared to their peers, or if they've grown or not, or if they're on level for math or not, or if they've developed fluency skills, all of these things. The scaled score informs all of the different scores you find within each of the reports because it's all tied together. So let's talk about how it's all tied together. Renaissance is always deep in research and study and has linked your California state standards and all the skills a student needs to know pre-K through 12, and has linked them all together in what we call a learning progression. So as you can see to the left, we have pre-K skills and concepts. And as we travel along this wave to the right, we have an even larger collection of skills and concepts. And then on this progressive wave of learning, you can see all these little connectors, almost like Tinker Toys, where the stick is connected to both a big block and some little blocks along the way to make that much larger concept. So as we zoom out and look at this wave of learning over time as a whole, we can see that a learning progression is all the skills and concepts as students develop is expected to know in their educational career. So now when we consider a student's performance on STAR and the scaled score that they receive, we can now visualize the student being plopped down in the middle of the progression based on the number of questions the student answered correctly, along with the complexity of those questions. And we see this is where the student is then placed. So looking at where the student landed, this is telling us that all of the skills to the left of this beam, are skills and concepts they have mastered, and over to the right, they have yet to learn. So when that student takes the STAR assessment, STAR Early Literacy or STAR Spanish, that kiddo is placed on a unique learning progression, taking into account all they already know and what might need to come next. As you look at your students' scores, and when we pop into Record Book in just a few minutes, you're going to potentially see several students who have skills in common, skills they've all mastered and skills they need to focus on in order to make progress. In Record Book, we can easily group these students and you'll see exactly what skills this group will have in common and benefit from learning. So when we're planning our small group lessons and the teacher table time or differentiated small group instruction, independent instruction, and you're making those decisions about who needs to work on what do we need to prioritize, we can turn to Record Book and that STAR data to support us and truly inform our planning for those pieces. And then we have the focus skills. These are the skills and concepts that are essential to building on future learning. They're the skills that connect all the other pieces together. These are truly the non-negotiables. These are those big building blocks of student learning. If the student has gaps in these critical skill areas, their learning progression web doesn't hold up. And you can begin to see it in everyday learning struggles, especially in the students that you serve. So I have an animation here. Each letter on the screen represents a skill tied to a standard of learning. I want you to consider which skills you think might be focus skills. If you guessed I and J, you are correct. So what are focus skills? We just talked about it. How might focus skills impact prioritizing student goals? Might you look at your student data a little bit differently when we start to dig into the reports and see those focus skills and think about what we are prioritizing for our students? If we don't have focus skills as a priority, what happens to our learning? If I don't have these, I can't make connection to all of these other things that are on my learning path.
Thank you for watching this STAR micro learning session. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please email or call us at the email and number on the screen. You may also share your feedback at the bit.ly or by using the QR code provided on the screen.